Good morning, I'm Peter Milios from the Finance News Network. The Dow Jones Industrial Average ended little change Friday and finished lower for the week as investors evaluated the latest earnings results and concerns of disappointing profits. Markets in Australia, Europe and the US are anticipating more economic data this week that could provide greater insight into inflation's progress and the strength of economic activity across much of the world. Consumer and producer price inflation this week for Australia, consumer inflation in the EU and America's PCE inflation on Friday will temper market sentiment ahead of key meetings of central banks in Australia, the US, Britain and the EU in the first 2 weeks of May. On Friday, the 30-stock Dow Jones Index added 0.07%, while the S&P 500 eked out a 0.09% gain. The Nasdaq Composite rose 0.11%. And China's economy appears to have bounced back, kind of. In its first full quarter since Beijing lifted punishing COVID restrictions, the world's second largest economy beat expectations on the back of surging consumer spending, rising exports and government-led infrastructure investment. But youth unemployment hit 19.6%, its second highest mark on record, suggesting that businesses are not convinced that Beijing is finished dabbling into the private sector and that economic uncertainty is over. Earnings season continued Friday with results from Procter & Gamble. The consumer products company gained 3.5% after beating expectations and lifting its sales forecast. As of Friday morning, 76% of S&P 500 companies reporting earnings so far have beaten analysts' EPS estimates, according to FactSet. Elsewhere, materials stocks were the worst performers, with Freeport-McMoRan falling 4.1% after posting a year-over-year decline in its quarterly results, while shares in the world's top two lithium producers, Albemarle and SQM, tanked on Friday, after Chile moved to take control of the country's lithium industry by saying contracts with two giants would not be renewed under a new public-private partnership model. Chile has the third largest lithium reserves in the world. Investors dumped the shares on Friday, with SQM losing more than 18% in value to a 52-week low, while Albemarle slumped 10%, also hitting a year low. Overall, overnight, the S&P 500 sectors were mixed. Consumer discretionary led the day, closely followed by consumer staples, whilst materials trailed behind. Earnings season will continue this week, with results on deck from big tech companies, Amazon, Alphabet, Meta Platforms, and Microsoft. The SPY futures are pointing to a 0.1% fall. Thank you for listening.